Welcome to the Podski. What? Ooh, yeah.
You understand, baby?
Dig it?
Let me tell you another thing.
First name John, last name Baker. Uh-huh. Brother.
Hello and welcome to the Podski. I am your host, the man of 1,000 gimmicks, John Baker. It is episode 53 of the Podski, and we are going to be talking about Forbidden Door, the AEW New Japan pay-per-view that was this past weekend. And we got the Pizza Wars crew back here. They did the preview show last week. Now they're back to do the review show this week. We got JC and we got the Speed Man, Justin Andretti. Welcome in, boys.
Thank you, sir.
Hello.
Appreciate it.
What a show that was. We're going to get into the show in a little bit here towards the end, but damn, it's episode 53. We don't have our numerology captain, Teddy Mongoose. He's riding the waves this week. But this show's going to be dropping on...
Where did he go? Where do they go every year? Ocean City?
No, they go down to the Outer Banks.
Wow. Can't hide money.
You can't have money. I'm actually heading down there. I'm heading down there in a couple weeks. So
I haven't been there. I haven't been there in freaking 30 years, but the last time I was there, it was not as fun as other places I've been beach-wise.
It's definitely...
I just escaped that entire state, so I'm all right. I'm all Outer Banks out.
When's the last time either of you went to Virginia Beach?
I went to Virginia Beach my senior year of high school.
Do they still have the haunted houses on the Strip?
I honestly don't know because I went with the band.
Wow, dude.
Yeah.
One of the few times, so we're not big vacationers. So I remember going to Virginia Beach as a youth, and then the last time I was there was for a conference. And it's like a pseudo conference. It's more for undergraduates to drink and do stupid shit. So they do competitions, and there's two things about this Virginia Beach trip. It was the last time that particular conference was held there because the hotel was falling apart. And there was not a drop of hot water in sight, which was great for undergraduate young men. It smelled wonderful. And then the other thing is I won a donut hole eating competition.
What?
Yeah, so the conference itself is based around competitions that you do that are related to my field. So I, as the king of manufacturing, we can add that to my list of titles, dominated to a really hard second place that year. And then they do like team building exercises and like let's go geocaching because they're all a bunch of nerds. So one of the competitions that year for team building, it's the first night, was a donut hole eating competition. So you got to pick powdered or chocolate covered, and they were the tasty cake like donut holes.
Mm-hmm.
So it was the fastest to eat like 12 or something.
Oh, dude.
So I've been training for this kind of competition my whole life. This has me written all over it, pal. So like I'm the only one with strategy. You got to break the outer like mantle, and so you can get the milk in there, and it basically dissolves everything. Well, I house these things, set a land speed record for donut hole consumption, and just and you have to remember, I was a non-traditional undergraduate, so I was a couple years older. And whatever record they had, absolutely demolished, gone forever. Aaron Hernandez, I'm the king of this. So there was a guy who was in my same class, and we graduated together, who thought he was the Burger King. And shout out to him, he's now working at Home Depot.
All right.
So
I'm there twice a day, so I've probably seen him.
Andretti saw him there for the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, he probably poorly sold you lumber.
There was a shooting out here, a police involved shooting at the Home Depot out here about 2 weeks ago here in Burbank.
Uh-huh.
And I'll tell you what, that sure didn't hurt their sales because that place is freaking popping every day, dude.
Jeez.
Yikes. So, Buddy stepped to the king in a way that I found to be inappropriate. So I'm like, all right, I just ate 12 of these, but I may be filled with rage, but I've got room for snacks. So I, this kid's like, yeah, I'm gonna beat you, and like challenging me, and I'm like, okay, you're skinny and a little shit face, so challenge accepted. He couldn't keep up with my pace. So I slowed down to make him feel better because I'm a kind and gentle overlord. So I slowed down, and even though I was slowing down, he was still losing. And then he decided he was gonna throw up.
There you have
So
it.
I'm watching him throw up, just still housing donut holes.
Wow.
And I started to laugh.
How many did you consume?
It was probably a hard 24 in about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah. It was probably not good for my overall long-term, longevity. But for that one night, I was the king of the mountain, Jeff Jarrett style.
Love it.
Good
Love it.
Lord.
So,
Oh my.
shout out to Tiki East.
Yeah, the last time I was at Virginia Beach, that I went with my parents, and we went and did all the naval base stuff because I was really into Top Gun. So that's whenever.
Well, that's not changed.
And yeah, no, it has not changed. But I really wanted to be a naval aviator, and then I realized that they shot back. So that
We're gonna be right by the base in Lexington Park in Maryland.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we're gonna be right by it.
Oh man, you might see me out there. Highway to the danger zone.
I think they have an IQ
if he gets a
requirement
late,
in there.
yeah, they do. If he gets a late 80s crotch rocket, just stop the damn match.
Just look out.
Or if he starts taking his shirt off and starts walking towards a volleyball court.
The old fist bump going by.
Oh my God.
John Baker has never lost that love and feeling.
Never have, never will. Oh my.
All right, what do we got? We need to do birthdays.
We do. We got this is coming out on June 29th. So who are we celebrating this week?
Oh, we got a great list. So number one, we got Damien Demento. Happy birthday, Damien Demento. We hope you get a figure here soon, man, because it's a real shame we never got a Hasbro. So hopefully one of these little studios will make a fake Hasbro for you, man, because that's one I would definitely get.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
Damien Demento. Then I've got Jackie Fargo.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
I wonder if Power Town would try to make a Fargo figure. You would think that he'd be one of the guys that would be on their list at some point. JJ Dillon. We got a birthday coming up here on the 29th, so shout out to him.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
And we've got Jindrak.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
Okay. A wannabe member of Evolution.
Didn't Jindrak just retire?
No, I think. Well,
No, he's still, last I heard he was still going, but he had
still...
a match not too long ago in the States. He was working in Mexico, I think.
Yeah, he was down there for a long time, I think.
Yeah.
And then what else we got here? I don't know if these dates are right because all these sites give us different dates for the birthdays, but Dick the Bruiser, Boris Malenko, and Heidenreich.
Happy birthday to him. I don't care. Good luck.
Heidenreich. Dude, what a guy.
Michael Cole's best friend.
I loved Heidenreich in the paint, dude. When he had the paint, he was the man.
Oh, dude, we need to do a Heidenreich and R-Truth retrospective show as one.
God.
But yeah, so happy birthday to those fellas. And yeah, so we had a lot of content come out last week. We had the Hot Shots Wrestling Alliance show with JC and I, and then we had the very first ever episode of Andretti After Dark. And so we got a lot of good content coming in. If you didn't catch Hot Shots, I am still, if you before, if you have not watched it yet and you want to go back and listen and or watch on YouTube and or wherever you get your podcast, you can fast forward because I'm going to give a little spoilers here. But yeah, so no surprise here, but your boy is still in the lead. Very slim margin. I have no money left now. I did make money in the show, so that's good. JC spent a little bit of money too. But SmackDown is still in the lead of WCW.
All I'm gonna say is that a blind squirrel finds a fresh entree every now and again. You know what I'm saying?
Well, you're in for a world of hurt now because the Boogeyman has debuted on SmackDown and Teddy Long's SmackDown. So it's only that's when you're filling the tank with jet fuel and your rocket strap into the moon, brother.
Yeah, big time. You can tell how over the entire operation is just by that soundbite. But on the A show with WCW, we have the continued ascent of the Red Flame and all of his thigh chafing glory.
With the longest match that ever happened.
Oh God, it was so long. I'm never okay. Remind me to never have that be the one we spotlight again.
The
Tag
AI,
matches, no bueno.
The AI were like Red Flame is so slow in counting that like Kane would come into the mat, he would jump in the ring and break up the pin every single time, and no one would win. It was 25-minute. It was a 25-minute tag match of just it was brutality, man. But it was good though.
Yeah, it was. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, give us a little update on what happened on Andretti After Dark for those people didn't check it out.
Yeah, it sounded from talking to you that the downloads and the listens were pretty good this week. I was a little surprised they were as high as they were, but it's a niche. It's a niche thing. I get it. That's kind of what we were going for. But I mean, everybody had nothing but positive things. I got a bunch of texts from people and a bunch of messages through Instagram and stuff like that, just saying that people loved it and Facebook and all that stuff. So it ended up being pretty good. Everybody seemed to enjoy it, and it was really great having Aunt Carol on here to talk about the flood and then tell a bunch of stories about Liberty Park and growing up and things like that. So the response was even more positive than I expected. So I think at some point here, me and Mongoose and the Graws will probably try to do some kind of like a Liberty Park roundtable episode where we just have everybody on that people that want to come on, and then just do like a throw out like some questions like, what was your favorite song on the jukebox or something like that, you know what I mean? Or favorite arcade or something like that, just so we can kind of get a roundtable going and telling more stories. And that obviously leads into more discussion, every time somebody says something. So I think we're going to try to do that, but I don't know what my goal with that is to try to do one a month. It takes a pretty good amount of planning. So I've got to be careful with that because we just moved into this new house. We're still not completely set up. I had freaking plumbers here today for the third time to fix the sink and to fix the dishwasher, which we just installed brand new. And the installers had a kink in the freaking line in the back, which we didn't know. So we had no pressure, no water going to the dishwasher. There was no pressure in the sink, even though there was, a lot of pressure in the rest of the house. So it's just ongoing things, man, with an old house. I mean, it's just these things, ongoing issues that take hours out of your day every day, and I'm trying to freaking run a business over here, and I'm trying to take care of dogs, and I'm trying to get this house set up so that we can, have it the way we want it. And then I'm leaving Thursday to go out of town to head up to the Great Lakes. I'm going to be up there in Wisconsin and Michigan for probably a couple days, and then head to Pennsylvania from there, and then do the Laurel Highlands Pizza Wars with T3. And then we're going to do the cheeseburger picnic. Snyder Mania 8 will be on the 15th, and then we're heading down to Maryland Championship Wrestling on the 8th. So I got a busy 2.5 weeks coming up here. I'm just trying to get stuff done here around the house and trying to plan stuff out. But the goal is to do a show at least once a month. I just don't know what that topic is going to be yet for July. But once I get on the road here on Thursday, And I'm driving, through the Great Lakes. I'm sure I'm going to have a million ideas, and I'm going to start writing stuff down. But I mean, I got a bunch of ideas now. I don't have one that jumps out at me at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, whenever you're going to start hitting the road, you're going to get a bunch of ideas, especially because you like to build up your podcast listening just for this like trip.
You're 100% right, man. I don't my favorite wrestling show is Book in the Territory. It really is, and I will say that all the time. I love Mike Mills, I love the Doc, and I love Hard Body. Those guys are. I think they're the best podcast out there. No slight to you guys or to us, but like they've been doing it for a really long time, man. And when you go back and listen to those first couple episodes, or even go back and listen to the Observer podcast with Alvarez, like they don't know what the hell they're talking about, But like now, I mean, these guys have been doing it for 10 years, 15 years, so they're really good at what they do. But I force myself not to listen to any Book in the Territory until I get in the car to go on a long road trip, and then I'll listen to freaking 50 episodes straight through. So that's the way I end up doing it. I'm really looking forward to getting on the road and doing that. And I kind of do the same thing too with the Grill and JR episodes for the most part. I try to let them pile up, and then I'll blast through them, while I'm in the car and stuff like that. So it ends up being a pretty good time.
Yeah, JR's had some good stuff lately. He didn't have a show last week. I'm pretty sure he had a rewind or something that was like from ad-free shows, I believe it. It was just like a copy paste because I'm assuming it was because of his fall. So we, T's and P's out there for JR. But yeah, I think he did a Judgment Day 2003 show, which we all know how much of a mark I am for, that 2002 to 2005 run. And I loved it. So yeah. I still have yet to get into Book in the Territory. You've been putting it over for over a year now. So, but yeah, I'm finally all caught up. My wrestling hiatus has fully ended. I'm fully caught up on all of the Tonys. Shout out Tony and What Happened When. And yeah,
I'll jump into those too when I'm in the car. That's the only time I jump into those. But the only, obviously we've got a lot of diverse hobbies in the chat. But the other podcast that I try my best to let pile up is True Crime Garage, which is two guys out of Columbus, Ohio that have been doing this for a really long time too. And they're big, man. It's a big podcast. They've got big sponsors and things like that. And they seem like they've got a really big following. But those episodes come out on like Tuesdays and Wednesdays every week. He tried to do like a 2-part thing. And they're professionals of what they do, and they're really good at it. So those are really great shows to jump into. If you're into true crime at all, True Crime Garage is the one I can't recommend enough to jump into.
Nice. Yeah, all right.
I've listened to sorry to cut you off, John. Well,
no, you're good.
I'll get this thought in. I've listened to What Happened When every week for probably 3-4 years now at least.
I put it over to you for a long time, and then you jumped in.
Yeah, I haven't missed
an
episode.
They've been doing a lot of really good stuff. They did like a lot of old Memphis stuff recently. That's really, really good.
Oh, those commercials for renting furniture.
So good. It's so good.
Amazing. I also regularly listen to the Major Wrestling Figure podcast. Totally worth listening to. And then the other one I wanted to give a shout out to was the New Heights podcast with Travis Kelsey and Jason Kelsey.
Oh, yeah.
As a big Eagles fan, hearing probably my favorite Eagle of all time at this point, because others have been disappointments looking at you, Carson Wentz. And Donovan McNabb for, drunken driving reasons.
Man, did I love Donovan McNabb back in the day.
Oh, my Eagles are Mike Quick and Randall Cunningham, man. Those are my guys.
So, funny side story, not funny, but my one of my mom's friends, her husband's sister went to Syracuse with Donovan McNabb, and he was like a huge Eagles fan. And like it was awesome. Like I never got to meet McNabb or anything like that. I didn't get that kind of insider stuff, but he would always talk about how like he would go to stuff with McNabb and all that because he was with his sister and stuff like that.
JC, I got one here for you, man.
Oh boy,
Mike Quick from Rockingham and college, NC State.
Oh, I didn't know we had that connection as well.
I didn't know that either.
Just a couple of state school kids working our way up the ranks. That's excellent.
The only shout outs that I can ever give for the Dolphins and Shippensburg is Brett Grimes, and that ended so poorly with his wife, getting thrown in the drunk tank after she tried to fight somebody in the parking lot at a Dolphins game. Funny, Brett Grimes.
That's all right. McNabb should have been thrown in the drunk tank and had his license taken away, but here we sit.
Yeah, that's true. Apparently, Brent Grimes was drunk in town after Wibbs one night. This is all allegedly because I don't know if it's true. So let's throw up the reckless speculation here. The
Thanks,
word,
Meltzer.
yeah, the word on the street is that Brent Grimes was at Wibbs one night, which Wibbs is our big college town bar. Not a bar, it's like a club. And he was fucking around in town and he got into a chase with the cops and he stole a motorized cooler and escaped via motorized cooler and returned it a few days later.
Nice guy.
Yeah.
That is a very your hometown story.
It is. That's all allegedly. I have no idea if that's true. That's just the word and the rumor on the street. But
I too escaped by igloo.
seriously, motorized igloo.
You want to hear a story about a cooler? I bought a Yeti, a really nice Yeti with wheels on the back and a big handle.
Oh yeah, that thing probably weighs 900 pounds.
Dude, I put that thing in storage because we didn't need it when I was at my in-laws, right? Why the hell would I need it? So I got that thing out of storage and I forgot that I even had it. I was so freaking excited. I can't wait to take that thing to the beach in August, man. I'm gonna ride that fucking thing down the hillside.
Yeah, it's probably gonna be 700 pounds by the time you put ice in it in beer. Yeah, there's Yeti. Cool. Shout out Yeti. I got my Yeti right here.
We had a lot of shout outs today.
We had a lot of shout outs.
Well, I might as well give a shout out to the Altoona Railroaders Museum. I got the Altoona Railroaders Museum coffee mug.
Summit Diet Cola is going up in my federation this week.
Wow.
Aldi, bro. Aldi.
Yeah, so we're gonna do something different here on the Podski. I know that Andretti he likes to keep his racing profile on the down low, so you won't see him, but you'll see me on the YouTube. But we got a JC mentioned the major wrestling figure podcast, so I got something very special in the mail today. We'll do this live. I haven't seen it yet. Have yet to see what this looks like. JC is uber pissed. He's giving me the finger right now. I've not seen this at all. So this is great. This makes for great audio, but your boy got the Cody Rhodes Ultimate Edition from Mattel Creations.
It's quite a box.
It is quite a box. Welcome back, Cody. Upside down. But that was upside down, wasn't it? That way I flipped it. I can't tell. It is sealed with Scotch tape. I don't know how I feel about that. That looks like literally somebody put Scotch tape right over it.
They probably did.
They probably absolutely did. Boy,
that's your boy Makina.
Makina, it's literally Scotch tape. It's not. I'm just gonna. Because I got two of these. I only got one today, but I got another one coming. Like, why did they do that?
So why John has heat with me over this is when we pre-ordered it, I had pre-ordered it to the place I was living. And I had been hoping that it would ship either sooner or I would be able to change the address to where I've just moved back home. So I was hoping to be able to either change it or that it would have arrived sooner. And literally the day that I moved and drove 11 hours in a U-Haul, I got the shipping notification. And at 7:00 in the morning, I was furious.
All right, so here is the packaging. It's a package within a package. Look at it. This thing is beautiful.
It's really nice.
Oh,
yeah, it's got a really cool like Cody with his eyes and then it's got some artwork on the back. I mean, this is awesome. Nothing on the bottom actually. And it says the prodigal son returns on the top. And then we got some Velcro little gimmicks up here in the top. And we get a wide open face box with no I believe it is tied down. But you get a little entrance ramp with the Cody logo, and you got your Cody.
Okay.
That thing is beautiful.
Is that soft or
looks great.
is that soft goods or is that plastic?
It's not. It's like it is soft goods.
Pleather.
It's like a pleather. It's got a screen
Okay.
over it.
Looks good.
Yeah, they figured out how to print
There's
onto that, and then
accessories inside, but I'm not sure what those are. But this is from Cody's return last year at WrestleMania, and this figure is awesome. I'm glad that I got two, and that this bad boy is going down to the little cave ski. So I had to rub that in JC space a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and we got some other figures that we got here too, because your boy just didn't get one. So the other one that I got too, I got the new Defining Moments line. I got this Mankind. This is from whenever he got thrown off the cell. So I don't know if it'll catch it. The tooth in the nose gimmick. Yeah, like this figure is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Then I know JC. Then the one figure that he actually did get. What did you get?
I have the Defining Moments Cody Rhodes. The other ones in the set were not really that interesting to me, although they are very nice figures. I just didn't have a connection to them. But this Cody Rhodes one is excellent. This one is going to stay mint in box. Because as I was moving, I took a large majority of my collection off of card for moving purposes, and it just makes collecting easier.
Right.
But this one I'm probably going to keep on card and then get another one from Ringside. Shout out Ringside Collectibles.
Shout out. Big shout out.
But it's wonderful. It's got the great Defining Moments packaging that just looks excellent. It's a great presentation. It's got the blue and the white tights from the Hell in the Cell. So that's the thing with this one. It is the torn pec match between him and Seth Rollins at the Hell in the Cell 2022. So it's the same Cody Rhodes Elite that they've released a couple times now already. But it has paint application to look like the bruising that he had on his pec and bicep. And then it has the tights that he wore and some open hands, and then it has a cowbell for because he pulled that out in the middle of the match, and that was a shout out to Dusty. And I'm hoping they make, since Seth is the champion now, and they're usually pretty good about getting him figures. I hope they make the matching Seth to this with him in the polka dots.
Yes, they absolutely have to. I feel like
I'm really hoping they do, because it's just too good not to match with this one. And like I said, I'm gonna the Defining Moments packaging is so good, and this is thin compared to the old ones.
Yeah, you have the original Defining Moments packaging. It's big, it's bulky, it's thick.
Yeah,
you can clearly tell that this is like the new style of packaging.
Yeah,
moving forward, because they're not getting rid of the open face. They're not getting rid of the plastic windows anymore. But like, very thin, minimal plastic window. Like it's pretty awesome.
Yeah, so I think this is a great figure. I'm really happy to have it in my collection, and that they brought back this form factor of the packaging in this line. So I'm really happy about that. And I'm really looking forward to getting another one to have open and loose. And that's an interesting discussion. I was just talking today to John about going to IKEA and getting some, I want a glass case. The ones that normally people use are Detolfs. So I'm looking at figuring that out, and when I have a permanent location for the foreseeable future, I'm gonna set up my collection, and I'll get you some photos to post and whatnot. But that'll be a cool thing to kind of chart that, how I set things up, what I'm going to set up anyway. So like the Sting collection, the Cody collection, and Power Rangers and stuff like that. So So yeah, look forward to that content coming in the not too distant future. So, but to wrap up my thoughts on that, it's a great figure, highly recommended.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love mine as well. But the last one is another big boy. If you haven't seen it already, the Blood and Guts MJF versus CM Punk. It is, a bloody style figure that AEW does. It's got all kinds of other accessories. It's got the other faces. I mean, this packaging is huge. It's enormous compared to like what Mattel's doing. Really surprised that Jazzwares is like getting into the big open face window on these, but these figures, I love the Blood and Guts line. The Blood and Guts line's awesome. And yeah, I can't. There's not much else to say about this other than I'm really excited for them to bring out that CM Punk, hopefully that Supreme CM Punk, because I'm gonna get that one for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I know
For
that
sure.
you, JC, I know you got a question, so that you're going to ask the group here. So
Yeah, so this is the debut of a new session on the Podski. Tough questions with the doc. So, shout out again to the Major Wrestling Figure Podcast. This was a question that was a user question or a fan question that they did and answered at the end of it, and I thought it was super appropriate because all three of us collect action figures to some degree or another. So I thought this would be a really cool question to ask all three of us and to have answers from all three of us. So the question is, if they ever recast Toy Story and you are cast as Andy, what 5 figures make up your cast of toy characters for
Wow, that's a great question.
Yeah, I know. I heard that as I was driving up 95 and I was like, my God, that is great content. So
I guess since they would come to life, you wouldn't want like Sabretooth or Apocalypse or somebody to be one of the 5, right?
let's just say they're not going to be nefarious.
Okay. Oh man,
Nefarious, that was a really good film that Alsa and I watched over the weekend.
I don't know if I can rattle off 5. Do we want to go around the horn and just name one each time around?
Sure.
Yeah, you want to lead it off, JC?
Yeah, that'd be great. So, and it's not in rank order. It's just a compilation of 5.
Okay.
So my first one would be the 1993 Automorphin Power Rangers Green Ranger.
Okay.
I
had that is the one toy that I remember from being from my youth. That like just sticks out to me as like the toy that I had and that I loved. I still love. I have 2 of them. One loose with the all 6, and then one in package, pretty mint. So, and they're very affordable to get. So, my first one is Automorphin Green Ranger.
So probably for mine, it would. I don't know what line it is. I don't know, but I have. It's a Batman, but he had a button on his back where you could push it, and the wings would shoot out of his back, or the cape would shoot off his back, and then he would be capeless. So it wasn't Batman Beyond, but it was a specific Batman. I'm not sure which one it was, but I loved that Batman. I'm not a short-eared Batman guy. I love the longer ear Batman mask. Batman's my dude. Love Batman to death. So it has. Yeah, I feel like Batman's got to be my number one.
I'm gonna go with.
I can't wait to hear this. By the way.
Oh, he's gonna have great answers.
The Masters of the Universe, He-Man figure, Mantana.
Oh.
Do you know who that is?
No, but I gotta look this
up. Mantana. He's got 2 big eyes that stick out of his head whenever you pull the thing down.
Okay, now I need to look this up too.
Yeah.
Baker, save photos of this to put this on the YouTube.
Yeah, I will. Oh my gosh.
That guy's awesome. That dude's great.
That looks fantastic. You want that to come to life?
I want that guy in my party. Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's awesome. This is really hard though, because can we use Buzz and Woody?
Sure.
I'll
Why not?
allow it. I'll allow it. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be.
What? Because
But let's do this with 2023 eyes. So it doesn't necessarily have to be from your childhood specifically. So if there's a modern thing that you would absolutely love, like one of them will be on my list. So
yeah, I feel like a two for. I feel like a two for one. Like you have to group them together as one. For my number two would be Buzz and Woody, because I had multiple Buzz and Woodies. Like when I went home, if I go home and I open up a tote of my toys that are in my parents' basement, I have like 3 or 4 sets of Buzz and Woodies. So you can't hide money, but um, that's what I guess that's what I had multiple editions of Buzz and Woody, like the original '96 version or whatever year that came out. I believe it was '96, but like I have the originals that were in store.
okay.
Like they're sick.
So my next one um would be from the Mighty Ducks animated series.
Uh-huh.
The goalie Slapshot, I'm pretty sure was his name.
No, okay. It's
Did you just have like nostalgia come rushing back to you?
well, no, because he was on my list as well.
Okay, okay.
But it's wild.
So yeah, thank you. Thank you, Wildwing. He was the leader. He was a big beefy boy. He was the goalie. He had the mask.
Uh-huh.
Just a great design, a great figure. A lot of fun. You lose whatever like pucks shot out of his like
Oh,
arms.
there's
You
pucks.
lose those immediately.
I
Yeah.
still have the goal though.
Do you?
I do. I do have the goal, and I have him, and I the stick may be in the bottom of the bag.
I need to recollect at least him because I don't have any of those.
Here is so good. Oh
I
my
need to
gosh.
re-
I need to go to my
recollect that
parents
one.
and take a picture of it because it's fantastic.
Yes. Hundo P. Andretti, what do you got?
I'm gonna put this in the chat
Oh boy.
as soon
This
as
can
I get
only be
back to
good.
it here. I'm gonna go with there was a Hasbro line that came out that was kind of like it was kind of like a bigger version of the GI Joes, and it was called Cops and Crooks. And this bad guy's name is Buttons McBoom Boom.
Oh my gosh, the guy's
Now here's the thing, and I know you guys don't know this. The chest plate right there, that his chest plate, the pink suit opens up and guns fall out, and he shoots at you with the guns coming out of his chest.
That's fantastic.
That figure's so awesome.
That figure is sick.
That is tremendous. The name alone was well worth a shout out, but then to see the figure, tremendous.
Yes.
Buttons McBoom Boom.
Wow. Fantastic. I love this. This what a good question. Tough questions with the doc.
Yeah.
Mhm.
What's your number 3, JC?
So I'm gonna have to go modern on or semi-modern. Shout out back to the Defining Moments series. It would be the Defining Moments Crow Sting.
Oh, that's such a
That
good...
is, it is like the best representation of that era of Sting. Like, and no disrespect to the Jazzwares regular release of Sting, because it's a great modern Sting figure, but that Defining Moments is like they shrunk Steve Borden down and put him in packaging. Again, that's another one that I have both a on card and a loose one of because it's perfect. The only thing that sucks about it is the bat. They all because it's so thin at one point and manufacturing wise. Yeah, and the manufacturing of it, thin plastic components like that always curve. Just with age and loss of moisture and things like that. So it happens. So that's the only drawback to it. But it is, yeah, I would not want to go if everything burned down and I didn't have a collection anymore, I would need to make sure I still had that.
Yeah. Okay, so my number 3, I'm not gonna do Wild Wing yet. I'll save him for last. So My number three would be the Star Wars episode 1, that whole set, but like the Darth Maul with the
Yes.
com what's that thing called? I can't I still,
Comtech.
yeah, the Comtech. I have the Comtech machine in my car. I meant to show it to you when you came home and we went to dinner that time. It's still
Mhm.
it's in my center console. I literally am carrying around this Star Wars Comtech in my car. I'll be carrying it around for
I
like
love it.
for a year now.
Yeah.
I don't know if it still works. I have to crack it open. I'm sure the batteries like are leaking like hell in there.
Mhm.
Because it thing probably hasn't been touched in 20 years. But that one with the Comtech, with like the Comtech machine, and that Darth Maul. Oh, that figure is so awesome. That was my favorite. That one and the Obi-Wan Kenobi, like those were my favorite Star Wars toys growing up. Like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know that Darth Maul was a bad guy, but I thought he was awesome.
John's number one, just as a spoiler alert, is going to be the Black Series Jar Jar Binks, or the Hot Wheels car Binks.
Yeah, hop in the car Binks.
There's no time to talk. Just get in the car Binks.
Yeah, no, I do. I love Jar Jar Binks. He is he's like he's a genius, an evil genius that no one knows. He's hiding in plain sight. He's a stupid genius that is hiding in plain sight.
Absolutely.
What do you got, Andrew? Ready for your number three?
I was gonna go with a wrestling figure, then I decided to keep it non-wrestling for this. So I'm gonna give a little shout out here to JC with this one. I'm gonna put it in the chat here.
Oh boy. Hey,
I'm gonna go Mike Quick, 1988 Philadelphia Eagles starting lineup.
I love it.
That's great. Well, hey, shout out to Trey from That's So Dolphins Talk. We're gonna actually little tidbit here. All those That's So Dolphins Talk that we had in podcast form, they're gonna be going up on YouTube. I'm slowly working at them. I'm just gonna put them all up at once. Nice. So if you want to go back and listen to the Dolphins season of last year and the ups and downs of that, mostly downs. But
roller coaster of emotion.
Big roller coaster of emotion. You check those all out. But he has every single Miami Dolphins starting lineup that he ever made.
That's great.
That's amazing.
That's awesome. What's your next one, JC? What's number 4?
Oh man. This is where I think it gets difficult. Because there's so many different ones, and I have only a very few specific interests in life. Because I'm boring. So I'm gonna go with, and I never had this as a child. It was my first eBay purchase when I got to college.
Okay.
It is, and it's not technically a wrestling figure, or it's not technically a figure. But it is the Green Dragon Dagger, 1993 Mighty Morphin Power Rangers Green Ranger Dragon Dagger.
Yeah.
I wanted that thing so bad as a child. And looking back and now collecting things, like for the financial situation that I grew up in, I had more toys. I remember having more toys than I would have expected.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't have that one, and that's fine. And I have it now as an adult, and then the modern Lightning Collection incarnation of it as well. But that thing just epitomizes cool. It's the stupidest weapon in the history of ever. It's a flute dagger that calls a gigantic mechanical dragon-looking thing. And it plays a stupid song, but it was the coolest thing as a kid. I have it now, along with some other stuff. And yeah, so that would be my number 4. Would have to have that animate to life and make a crackly speaker. Do, 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 do.
So I'm not that I had a Power Rangers, like it was a whole kit gun, but it had like the shield that clipped on. Ah, damn, I can't remember what it is.
God, you can't hide money. You had the Power Blaster.
I did. I have that. I don't know if I have
a bitch.
I don't know if I have the whole thing. I'd have to like legitimately dig and dig and dig, but I know that I have the the shield because it had like a gray rubber outsole. I might have to look that up to make sure I know what it is, but I'm pretty sure I had the power blaster.
I had Saba. So he was the weapon of the White Ranger when Tommy lost his powers and then came back because everybody liked him so much.
Yeah.
So I had that growing up, and if you were not a kid of the '90s, you don't understand what chewing on toys was.
I chewed on my toys though.
Yeah. Oh, I bullshit. You are definitely a toy chewer. I don't want to hear it. I remember doing that to that Saba, the tiger sword. Shout out. He would be on my extra on my honorable mention list, but 100% chewed on that bad boy, and they all broke in the same place, so it's hard to find a nice one because I would like to find a new one. But yeah, the all those Power Rangers weapons, so stupid, so goofy, so unrealistic, but absolutely wonderful.
You can get the official Toy Chewer shirt at the Podski merch now available.
We should actually look into making that.
Yeah, we should.
Bullshit, you were definitely a toy chewer. That's a social clip waiting to happen.
Oh yeah, that is. Damn. So my number 4, I'm stuck. I don't know if I want to go. I don't want to leave it modern, but I feel like my other favorite toy, and this would be terrible if it brought to life. It'd be really cool in the movie though, was I had the gargoyle with the wings that flapped up from the TV show Gargoyles. Like Gargoyle was the shit. And it is so short-lived. I believe it's all on Disney Plus. You could go back and watch all of them. But Gargoyles was my shit. And that I have that figure. I still have it. It's in the backpack, conveniently in the Darth Maul backpack.
Of course,
it's at my parents'. So that's where all the important toys are. So like Wild Wing is in there. So and the Batman's in there. The my first WWE, well, what would have been my first WWE figure, like that Triple H and the Kurt Angle, should have been in there. I don't know where they are. But yeah, all the important toys were in the backpack.
What do you got for number 2, Andretti?
So for number 2, let me put this in the chat here too. Where's it at? Okay, number 2, I'm gonna go with I gotta get some GI Joes in here. So I'm gonna go with Law and Order, the GI Joes Law and Order. So these two, it's like a military police officer with a German Shepherd. So I'm going to count that just as one, since it's only a little dog. But the figure is awesome.
Yeah,
I love the color scheme. The little German Shepherd's badass. So I'm going to go with Law and Order for my number 2.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right. So I'll kick off the final round here. My number 1. I struggled with this a little bit because it's a modern figure, but it has a lot of sentimental value. I started collecting during the pandemic, and this was hard to find across the country. And the Walmart that I went to in Raleigh had a shipper of AEW Series 1. So I was able to get all of them at once. So it is the AEW Series 1, Unrivaled Series 1, Cody Rhodes. Collecting was what John and I did
that's what
during the pandemic. And yeah, well, that's
even Andretti, like, because dude, I remember when that line came out. I can't tell you how many days in a row that I traveled to a Walmart opening just to get a chance to get those figures in hand, even though I already had them from ringside.
Oh, I drove all the way to Ridgecrest to that Walmart because I knew that there wasn't going to be anybody collecting all the way up there. That's about a 2.5 hour drive, and I've gotten pretty lucky up there sometimes with figs. So I don't think I bought any up there at that time, but I remember thinking that was going to be the spot.
Yeah. Oh my.
And so it was nice that collecting kind of while I was away. Becoming the first doctor of the Podski verse. It was something that John and I could do sort of remotely away from each other, but also talk about it, and it'd be something that keeps us connected um, while I was away. So that series in general, but the Cody, it depicts the Double or Nothing match with Dustin, which is the match that got me back into wrestling. And shout out to the 1 of 500 chase that I don't have and would absolutely love to have one day.
And that
from that series.
That is one figure that I will never part ways with.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
Especially the price, right? Well, I mean, it's really hard to. I have to convince Allison to not want. I'm like, that is one figure that's my crown jewel figure. So, one thing I will say about that AEW Series 1, that set, I feel like it holds so much sentimental value for all of us. Like everyone that's included in the Podski network, like we were all collecting these figures like during the pandemic, and it was literally what got Andretti and I together was that chat, the figure chat. And so like that, all of us, including JC, like we were all hunting these figures hard every single day, and it was so much fun. And that's just like one set that like I'll never open. It will always be mint in box. I already have a loose Cody already that I want to do something with. Like I have the entire first set. I got the 2 chases, I got the ringside exclusive Jericho, and I got the Kenny that was supposed to be that's in the ring as well, which technically isn't part of the original series line, but he was with that original launch. So I have all of it, and it's gonna that is one thing that like is like something that like I like hold most dearest in the collection.
Yeah, I have everything but that Cody, and my Brandy is actually signed. I got it at the AEW show in Raleigh there. And yeah, I have it all.
Shout out, happy birthday, Brandy. She had a 40th birthday.
Yeah, for real. So yeah, just to put a button on that, that's a pretty important. I have, more rare stuff. I have different stuff, stuff that like, was given to me as a custom. I actually have one, shout out to my sister who got a 3D scan made of my own head,
which is
and
awesome.
got it printed out, and I have it. So like stuff like that, you can't. But the only reason I didn't put it on there was it would be weird to see myself, like reanimated as a little plastic man. I love it. It's great. It's in my collection. It's safely packed away at the moment. But so like I have a lot of awesome stuff. It's just that particular one was sentimental for Podski related reasons. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then my number one, or my final round, is I already mentioned it, is the Wild Wing. That Wild Wing is so freaking sweet. I don't have a clue where the pucks are, but I have the goal, the original goal. I have the figure, and I have the stick, and the stick is probably in the bottom of that bag. But that figure is so freaking awesome. I like as soon, like even when I told Allison I was gonna go back over to my parents' house and I was like gonna look for my toys, the backpack was the first thing I went to, and the first thing I saw when I opened the backpack was the Wild Wing, and it was just like a wave of like nostalgia that just came over me. But yeah, that figure was awesome. Love that figure, and love the Mighty Ducks. Shout out to the Mighty Ducks. So yeah, that what a 5. That's awesome. I can't wait to see what Andretti's got going on here.
Yeah. Hold on, I gotta get the picture here. Okay, so for this last one, this was one that came out that was extremely difficult to find at the time. So I really love that Playmates Dick Tracy line that came out when I was a kid. And the blank was the only one that no one could find. You can find it now on eBay for like $100,000. But the blank, what a cool character. But it was, spoiler alert, 40 years later, it was Madonna. Madonna was the character in the movie. So that figure is so awesome to look at, but probably never have it. Unless I get like a knockoff or something, or somebody makes me a 3D print of one or something. But that figure's just incredible.
Wow. I actually didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Look at that. Look at the first ever Tough Questions with the Doc. How awesome was that? Those are the questions that we're looking for here on the Podski.
Don't expect that kind of quality ever again. I'm usually only good for one. My dissertation, that was my one good piece of academic work. My that question, it's all downhill from here is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, we got before we get into the Forbidden Door review, we got Money in the Bank this weekend. It's gonna be a pretty cool show. So I'll run over this card here, kind of what we're excited for out of that. So we have we get the Bloodline Civil War with Roman Reigns and Solo versus the Usos. I'm sure that's going to be an absolute banger of a match.
Yep.
We got Seth versus Finn for the for that new World Heavyweight Championship. We got the men's Money in the Bank with Damian Priest, Pete Dunne, Santos Escobar, LA Knight. Yeah. And
Yeah.
Shinsuke Nakamura, Logan Paul, and Ricochet, which that's a hell of a lineup for a Money in the Bank match.
Ricochet's going to do something wildly impractical and potentially life-threatening.
Well, yeah, probably him and Logan Paul are going to do something together, I would imagine. We got Cody and Dom in a match, which that one's going to be sick. Super excited for that. We got Gunther versus Matt Riddle. We got the women.
Do we think this is where he drops, by the way?
Hell no. If they drop that belt to Riddle, I hope the company bursts into flames.
I hope not, but man,
Not Riddle.
Like
I don't think Riddle.
Riddle
because they brought him back and immediately he's all the TV time in the world that he wants.
Yeah, but they're only doing that. They're using
face.
that to put over other people. That's why they're building him up.
Yeah, just wait.
I hope that's the case.
Look up his girlfriend while they're at it. The dead air speaks for itself. Anyway,
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
The women's Money in the Bank. So we got Io Sky, Trish Stratus, Becky Lynch, Bailey, Zoe Stark, and Zelina Vega. And then we have a women's tag match, which is Shayna Baszler, Ronda Rousey versus Liv Morgan and Raquel, which they need to get Raquel away from Liv like yesterday.
Yeah.
This is actually I didn't realize this was the card until I was reading it off here, but that show's going to be awesome. That show's going to be
So I missed Raw last night because it didn't record, and I missed about half of it from last week. So I'm a little bit behind with the WWE stuff right now.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a little behind too. I haven't been able to watch, or I haven't wanted really to watch SmackDown, but now the little wrestling juices are flowing again. I'm ready to hop back in and see what's going. I mean, I've been watching, I've been keeping my eye on things, just haven't been watching every week. So, but yeah, this card is going to be awesome. I can't imagine what that angle is going to be at the end of that show with Civil War. I'm sure that's going to be the close of the show. That men's Money in the Bank is going to be absolutely insane. That seems like the best lineup for a Money in the Bank that I can remember since like, I don't know, like in a long time. Is that just me or like, is anybody else?
I think it looks great. I think it looks great. I'm going to be on the road, so I'm going to try to watch it. I probably won't catch it till later that night, but yeah, I think it'll end up being pretty good.
Yeah, I agree. It's interesting that as we have learned over the months, I'm a Cody Rhodes fan. I don't know if you guys picked up on that, but
What the telltale sign of that?
Lord knows. The second to least interesting match is the Cody Rhodes and Dom match for me, and so I'm using that to say that that's how good of a card that Money in the Bank will be. It's just there's so much going on. Like I'm interested in everything on that card. Especially like I think Seth is doing really good stuff with the world title. And yeah, I mean it's great. I'm really looking forward to watching it. And it's a 1 p.m. or 3 p.m. start time in Good Guy time?
Yeah, because they are in London. So I believe it is on it's gonna be during the day on Saturday, which I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah, it should be 3 p.m.
3 p.m. Good Guy time.
I won't be able to watch it. I might be able to watch it on Monday or Tuesday, but I'm going to be away this weekend, so I probably won't remain spoiler free, but I'm still really interested to check it out, and I really want to sit down and watch it.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, let's get into this Forbidden Door review. After last year's show, that coming off that show last year, that was the best. I thought that was the best pay per view of the year last year. One of the best pay per views of the year. Certainly was AEW wise the best pay per view they put on all year. It's really hard to top that Revolution show that they did last year, but Forbidden Door was so freaking good. I loved that show. It had a absolute shit build. This year's build was a little bit better, but the show and the match quality that they put on this year, like damn, like I mean, this show feels like an instant classic, and I feel like this show's gonna be a cult favorite for like we're gonna talk about this show like in 15 years and be like the card and everything that happened in this show, like one of the best that's ever been done. What'd you guys think about Forbidden Door?
I loved it, man. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I was for a couple of the matches, I was floating in and out because I was still running around the house doing stuff and trying to get everything done so I could sit down and watch the rest of it. But just, I mean, what a card! First of all, what a card! And it was just everything I've ever wanted to see about just a million super talented people on one show. No shenanigans in between matches, where you got to worry about backstage stuff. I mean, it's just bang, 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 bang. I mean, that's what I want, man. And I can't ask for anything more than what I got. It was a fantastic show.
Yeah, I agree. It was, I mean, even the stuff that was slower paced and a little bit, not as much action. It was still really good storytelling and excellent storytelling in those matches. So I didn't think there was one. Okay, we'll talk about it when we get to it. The second to last match, it was there, unfortunately. But I thought pretty much all of them hit except for maybe that one at the end, second to last one. But it was top to bottom. I enjoyed the whole thing. So yeah, it was great.
Yeah, they kicked off the show, the main show. I didn't want to watch any of the pre-show. It's just I knew that we were in for a long ride, and I knew I probably wasn't going to make it the whole way either. So I was just pacing myself. This opener with MJF and Tanahashi, I thought was a perfect open. It is really sad that I'm so glad that we get to see Tanahashi. Like Andretti and I saw Tanahashi in person when we were at WrestleMania, and that was so freaking awesome. But it sucks that like this is kind of like where he's at in his career, where he can clearly tell the guy is starting to slow down, and it's like very noticeable in the ring. But like the dude is just like you can tell like he still wants it, and he could like literally I don't know what he could do to like even get into like longevity purposes. I don't know what he could do, but like you can tell the dude wants it so bad, and like if his body would allow him to, he could still like go at the highest of levels. Yeah. But I thought that this was a really good open. MJF is working great heel work. He did a lot to cover up for Tanahashi, I thought, but I thought this was a really good opener. What'd you guys think?
I mean, he looked a lot better when we saw him over Mania week than he did in this match, and it just seems like that guy ages tremendously between every match that we see with him now. He's a hell of a talent, man, and he still plays to the crowd. He's an unbelievable babyface. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how history treats Tanahashi. I mean, whether or not where he kind of fits in the all-time lists, right? About kind of where he's going to be, because I mean that guy he's an unbelievable worker, man, and he's so well respected and so well liked. It's a shame that he's slowing down a little bit, but look, man, one door closes, another one opens, and hopefully he'll jump into commentary booth and do the Japanese commentary for New Japan, just like Liger did, and be there for 10 years, man. It'd be awesome to see that.
Yeah. I've never, because I came to wrestling in the last couple years, came back to it, I should say. I've never seen any of the earlier Tanahashi matches, like when he was at his prime. So this is the Tana I know, and you can see like what he's doing, why he's doing it, and how he's good. Like you can still appreciate the work. But I just don't have a frame of reference otherwise than this, which I want to go back and correct.
You need to, man, because you're really gonna be impressed with that guy. Look, he's been hurt for a long time, man. He's been banged up. It seems like he's been banged up for 10 years almost is what it feels like. I know his knees are really bad. One of them I think is really bad. But it's gonna catch up with all of us sooner or later, and like I said, I mean, if the in-ring is gonna be done, hopefully he can figure out a way to stay on board. I mean, I don't know how the hell he's doing the G1. I don't know how the hell he's going to do it, dude. I mean, they're doing those matches every night. I mean, it's just, I mean, you saw that MJF had to kind of change that match around to, present like he was injured too, just to make it look more believable, but you can't do that every night, so it's just one of those things where you can't have that match every single night, but, it is what it is, and I'm hoping the G1 goes well for him and he doesn't get any more injured than what he is. And I'm sure there's probably some internal talk that this is going to be the last hurrah. I mean, it's got to be.
Yeah, it's pretty noticeable.
You don't want to become a caricature of yourself.
Right.
Yeah, correct. But yeah, then the next match this one was actually a pleasant surprise, honestly, because I didn't know what to expect from this match. But it was CM Punk versus Kojima. And this was part of the Owen Hart Memorial Cup, and that was this is the first round of the Cup, which they did this last year, and this is the one thing that Adam Cole won. So now CM Punk and Kojima, this was their first round matchup. CM Punk wins, and I mean, I was pleasantly surprised, even though for the fact that Kojima literally dropped an elbow right on CM Punk's dick, like right in the middle of the match. Like, I mean. And then he tweeted about it later, which was even funnier. But I really liked this match a lot. I was not expecting these guys to go out there and put on the show that they did, but they went out there and worked hard, and I appreciate it. The GTS looked a little rough there at the end, but I don't know. But yeah, it was a little bit longer, and I'm assuming that's because they had to cut the Adam Cole Tom Lawler match, so they gave these guys a little bit more time, which I was totally cool with because they went out there and did it. So hats off to these guys. They had a really good match. I really enjoyed it.
So what was rougher, that elbow drop, that GTS, or the crowd's reaction to CM Punk?
I mean, was that a little payback? That was that go to sleep a little payback from the elbow drop, you think?
I would assume, yeah, a little bit of a receipt.
I mean, how good of a job did both of them look in that match, dude? Look, you guys know my thoughts on CM Punk, but you can't deny the guy is one hell of a talent in the ring, and just the fact that he played off the crowd, booing him, and he went full heel and worked heel in that match was excellent. I got to give him credit, even though I don't like him, I got to give him credit for that, man, because that guy's a hell of a talent.
You brought up a really good point in the chat about how like they could let him do a Bret Hart style where he's only a baby face in Canada. Like
that was Mongoose. I can't take credit for that.
I couldn't remember, but yeah, I thought that was really good that like Chicago is going to be the only place where he's a baby face, kind of like what they do with MJF. But the crowd wants to see MJF, and I feel like the crowd they fully turned on CM Punk here.
I mean, what a big match for Kojima, dude. And I thought that was a perfect first singles match back for Punk, because he did the two trios matches or 8-man or whatever the hell they were on the last two collisions. But to put him in there with somebody that is a respected, credible, mid-card babyface guy from New Japan that is easy to deal with. I mean, Kojima looked excellent. That might be the best Kojima match I've seen in 10 years, maybe. I mean, those guys tore the house down, man. I was really impressed with that match, and I was really happy to see Kojima get a great match. One more great one under his belt.
Absolutely.
Yeah. He's a big dude. He's a pretty big guy.
Yeah, he is. It was. I saw a tweet that said like, Kojima is better because he got them big titties, and CM Punk's got those little ones, and Kojima liked it.
Yeah.
Which was so hilarious.
Yeah, the peck off that they had was pretty great.
Was absolutely incredible.
The line of the night. So my sister was watching it as I was. The line of the night was, "Why the hell is he wearing a breathe right?"
Yeah. I respect it.
I feel like I need to be wearing one 24/7.
I know.
Yeah. It is also very difficult to explain complex wrestling storylines to someone who does not follow it. So
Yeah.
like trying when we get to the elite match and trying to explain all of the nuances that went into all of the stuff, and then Punk and his rants, trying to explain all of that to her, and she did a great job listening and just trying to take it all in and nod it and be like, why is he such a dick? So but it's very difficult to explain because there is some stuff that only happens in wrestling.
Yeah.
That just and AEW is good at layered storytelling, and you forget how deep, when you pay attention to it, how deep you can get. And then you try to explain it and you're like, wow, this I don't sound very like I have much of a
You
life.
realize how far in the weeds you've gone.
You
Well,
really
a lot
do.
a lot of the stuff they did even in the Punk and Kojima match was kind of callbacks to Tenzin, who was Kojima's tag team partner for a long time. All those chops and like the big, swinging karate attack and stuff like that. Those are Tenzin's moves, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, that was really cool that they did those callbacks. I really enjoyed that too.
Mhm.
Yeah, and then we had a four-way for the AEW International Championship, and this one delivered in a way that I was not expecting. I had zero expectations for this match, and it fully delivered. And the fact that Daniel Garcia has gotten over this dance, it's so good. It's so good.
I thought we were going to see a belt flip. I really did.
Yeah, I thought we were.
I did too.
Too. I thought we were as well. And Orange Cassidy sneaky having, one of the best title runs of the year.
Ever in AEW, dude.
Yeah, literally ever in AEW. And, it's something that you're not expecting. And he just comes out there and he just delivers every time. It's so good. Like, I just thought everything they did in this match was fantastic. Actually enjoyed, I give Zack Sabre Jr. a lot of bullshit on here, but I really enjoyed this match. I have no complaints. I thought it was perfect. Yeah. And, we're 3 for 3 on some pretty good bangers here to start on this show.
I had a little bit of a suspicion that they were going to put that belt on Zack Sabre Jr. And the reason why I say that is because his contract is coming up pretty soon. So really? there's a little bit of speculation about what he might end up doing and if he's going to end up leaving, because that guy's a hot name right now, man. And he's the best he's ever been. He's fantastic in the ring, and the stuff that he can come up with in the ring is unbelievable. So I would think I had a little bit of a suspicion that they might pull the trigger and give him that belt just as a kind of like, hey, we want you here, and this is where your home's going to be kind of deal, But they kept it on Cassidy, man, and I can't argue with that either, because that guy's just on a tear right now, and he's tearing the house down every night.
This run for him as the international champion is what Cody thought he was doing with the TNT title the first time.
As much as I love Cody in that initial TNT run, this is a little bit better. I love the open challenge. The open challenge was fantastic, but this is going to surpass it, I think.
The thing about it too is, he really could end up being one of the pillars that they build on for the next 5 or 10 years. And I know that they got to tweak that character a little bit yet to make it more serious and a little bit more believable, and still kind of keep the character of what it really is, at the base. But I mean, that guy is every bit as good as Darby Allin or MJF even, in the ring. I mean, I would love to see Orange Cassidy get pushed as a main event guy. And again, I know there needs to be a little bit of growth with it, and they need to change it up a little bit, but he can go as well as anybody, any of those homegrown guys. He's every bit as good as them, if not better than them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I totally agree. They say that either the wrestler makes the belt or the belt makes the wrestler. He's making the belt, and quite frankly, they need it. And it's more interesting to watch that international title than it is the TNT title. Mm-hmm. And that's just poor booking. And I think it's a great idea that they have elevated that from feeling like a third throwaway title to a second to two, having 2 secondary titles, one for each show. Let's do it that way. And I think Orange Cassidy, I was kind of wondering how long it would last and how the story would progress, and I don't think they fell ass backwards into this. Like I thought it was planned, and he's just while they trusted him, he has over delivered.
Yeah.
So I was absolutely impressed with the match. I remember texting you and saying that I didn't have like super high expectations for it, but they blew it out of the water. And quite honestly, I think we should be considering Orange Cassidy as one of, the hottest talents right now, one of the best going today, and he should be on our card for Wrestler of the Year.
Yeah. So sidebar here, before we get any further, we're gonna try to do the Podski mid-year awards when we're at MCW. So we're gonna have JC. I don't know if we're gonna try to get JC in on that. It might be a little hard logistically, depending on how we're gonna record that. But
yeah, because if there's three of us using one mic that night, how are we going to do it? I just don't know how we're going to do it.
It might be you two sharing a mic, and I'll have it set up in between you, and then I'll have my own. But it's because I only have it set up for two mics. But the Allison and I, that's how I do it with Allison and I when we record, and I don't have any issues with the audio. But yeah, we'll have JC send in his bingo card for that. But yeah, I definitely think that I definitely want to second what you said about Orange Cassidy. Like he's over delivering. Whether or not they had this plan, he's made the plan look great, and he's over delivered, and he has not regressed to the mean yet, which is great to see. And then so, speaking of somebody that did has regressed to the mean in this following match, we had Jungle Boy Jack Perry versus Sonata, and this was the match where I texted JC and I said, this is my match where I have no expectations. If, Jungle Boy, I don't want to see this guy anymore. I'm done with him. I know he's a pillar of the brand and he's a pillar of the company and all that, but I'm done. I don't need to see any more of him. I'm over it. This just felt like the meh match of the night, and it sucks because it was for the IWGP World Heavyweight Championship, and it was just a meh. It was just there. It felt like for me. But what'd you guys think? I don't know what's your guys' opinions, because I feel pretty bland on this match. I didn't care for it at all. I was ready to move on to the next one. But what'd you guys think?
I mean, I've been around athletes a lot that they kind of come off like they're not interested and they're not really trying, but they are. They really do care. So I want to kind of give him a little bit of the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes I know there's people that are kind of, all over Jungle Boy about his effort and looks like he doesn't care and stuff like that. But I don't know if he does. And there's just something it's just not clicking, man. And I don't even know if a heel turn is gonna help that. There's just something about that guy. And I felt bad for Sonata to have to be the freaking world champ of New Japan and have to be in there with a guy that I don't think is very, very talented. It felt like a real letdown for him. I feel bad for Sonata for having to go through that match. That's shitty. But the heel turn, as much as we all wanted it and anticipated it, it's a miss. And it's a miss because Hook didn't do anything to deserve any of this, right? I mean, it wasn't like Jungle Boy wanted him to cheat and Hook didn't cheat or something where they've got a little bit of a conflict. It just came out of nowhere and it seemed really odd.
Well, the other thing that I hate too about it is that he just gave him one lariat. Like, if you're doing a heel turn, do the fucking heel turn. Beat the shit out of Hook.
Like, here's what's gonna happen is Jungle Boy and Hook are going to get into a program and everybody's going to want Hook to win it because Hook should win it.
Right. And then it's not going to do anything for Jack Perry because all he does is yells. He eats pins all the time. Like, I don't understand. I understand that, like, everybody loves the handsome devil Hook. I understand that. And I'm totally here for that because I love Hook as well. But I just felt like it felt like they weren't going to do the turn. And then everyone was like, well, what the fuck was the point of this match if they weren't going to do the turn? And then all of a sudden he gives him this lariat. And then it was just like, that's it. Like that's all they got for us right now. Like, that's all they're going to do. Like, I don't know. This is a huge monumental miss for me, and I don't know if like the roads are leading back to Jungle Boy being such a piece of shit heel that he's gonna join back up with Christian, and that helps bridge him to make him that helps him. I don't know, but the last thing I want to see is another Jungle Boy versus Luchasaurus match.
No.
Like I don't know if Jungle Boy needs to be on his own. I don't know what he needs, but this is
So I have a couple thoughts about this one.
yeah.
The I texted you when it happened, and when they finally did the turn at the end at the top of the stage, I said, "Thank you. Finally, we got this, so it could be doing something different." I actually think a couple things about this. I think his personality type will work well as a heel. I think being that bit aloof will actually work to his advantage, and I think that it allows him to be more of himself. Because if like again, it's a small sample size, but you look at some of Twitter mentions after that happened, and like they deployed the Danhausen. It's the emergency here, pull Danhausen to get something over.
Yeah.
And he Danhausen tweeted at Hook and called him Jangle Man Jack Jerry, which popped me to the moon. I have no idea why, but Jangle Man Jack Jerry, that's what I need to hear him referred to as forevermore. And then Jack Perry responded saying something like, "What did you do?" Or "Where were you?" Blah blah blah, and then like "fuck you" at the end of it. And Danhausen's response was, "Well, did you win?"
Like Danhausen,
Classic
Danhausen for him to actually do that. But
Yeah.
for me, that felt like Danhausen was getting the one up on Jungle Boy, making Jungle Boy look like a stupid fucking idiot.
Right.
I know.
So I get it.
I get what they're trying to do. It just
Yeah.
feels, personally for myself, it feels like just a swing and a miss.
Well, so I also think because everyone likes Hook, and it's going to involve Taz, the stronger the babyface, the stronger the potential for a heel.
Well, hopefully,
So
Taz. I mean, it has to, right?
yeah, he said stuff during the broadcast, and he said stuff on Twitter, and they used it as a way to bring him out and put Shivani in. But I'm willing to give it a go, because he's such a talented guy in the ring. To me, I think he's very talented, and he has a lot of potential. So I don't want to see I'm not going to give it a DOA kind of thing. He clearly has some work to do, and he'll have to grow with that character. But I don't want to see him fail. I want to see him have a real shot at it and do well with this. I think part of it was the booking of him as a babyface, and they never changed him up. And after 4 years, everyone was sick of it.
I just feel like they drug their dicks in the sand too long with it.
Yeah.
They were too late to pull the trigger on some of this stuff, and now it's like, well, now we're finally doing it. It's like, well, it's a lot. It feels like it's a little, it's too late, and I don't know. I'm willing to give.
Well, I would challenge everybody to go in with an open mind to it.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I feel like if if I can sit back and and immerse myself in it, let it go, like maybe I might be able to enjoy this, but I don't know. It's gonna be hard for me because it's just like, damn, like what have we been doing for the last year and a half with this guy? Like we're killing him dead.
And he could suck. It could be terrible. And I mean, both options are on the table. But I'm gonna lean towards the guy who's 24, and I don't want to put and he's a little older than 24, but he's real young, and I don't want to just automatically stamp something that big as it's going to be garbage because of previous things. There's a lot of things that weren't garbage despite previous things. Well, yeah.
He needs to quit hanging out with that ring rat Anna Jay.
No, what he needs to do, and I saw this on Twitter, was go full Sammy Guevara.
I popped myself too much on that one. I had to get that out there.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong about that, because I hate to say it, man, because you're right.
There's a correlation in his matches that lines up well with whenever he started dating her. That's gone downhill, and maybe I'm going out on a limb with some reckless speculation here.
I just think they're both. I think they're both at their ceiling, man. I do. I think they're both at their ceiling.
I don't know. Yeah, I haven't seen Jungle Boy. To me feels like who's been the same person that they've always been since they were in AEW. We just had this discussion a while back about like Sammy. Sammy seemed to be the same guy that he was a couple months ago. Now Sammy's turned the corner a little bit. Sammy's getting a little bit better, but let's see.
He's having a kid. He's got to grow up.
Yeah.
It's probably part of that too, man.
Yeah, literally since they've done that, he has turned it around. So maybe that is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just have a lot of thoughts about Jungle Boy and they're not positive anymore.
Yeah. It could go either way. Let's watch.
All right, fair enough. But yeah, so the one match that JC wanted to talk about coming up here is the 10-man tag, and that was the Blackpool Combat Club with Umino and Takeshita versus the Elite with Eddie Kingston and Tomohiro Ishii. And I am going to be honest with you, I don't remember this match at all. I feel like I don't remember this match at all. I don't know. I feel like I was making dinner for Allison whenever this was on. Like I was getting her stuff, and like I was listening to it, but like I wasn't watching it. And I don't know. I mean, Wheeler ate another pin, so good for that guy for eating another pin. But I'm gonna let you guys take this one over because I feel bad as your host for not having a lot of good insight on this one.
Oh, JC, this is going to be all you because I think I was doing the exact same thing whenever this match came on.
All right, we're going for the hat trick because I kind of checked out too. So I will say I thought it was the concept of it was mildly interesting to me. Not having Kenny in this match with the Elite. So they had to do something kind of interesting, and the interplay between Eddie Kingston and Claudio and Mox was interesting, so I didn't hate that. But they put it kind of in the middle of the card, and it was kind of a dip and lull in my attention. And I mean, I came back by the end of it and was there for the finish and everything. And I mean, Eddie Kingston is never not entertaining. So it was all good from that perspective. But I mean, I spent a good amount of time explaining to my sister all of the ins and outs of the relationships in kayfabe between all of the characters, and I skipped over Hammer Pants and Takeshita and his interaction with the Elite, and then I'm trying to explain Eddie Kingston without a couple of his promos would have been fruitless for me. And then how do you explain Ishii besides he is the walking embodiment of a wall womp from Mario 64. So and that's not a bad thing. That's an excellent thing for him. He is just a thick ass boy doing thick ass boy things. So I thought it was there. I thought it was fine. I kind of had it as like a 60, 75. If I was rating it out of 100, I don't have a rating scale. I thought it was good. I thought it was fine. I didn't have a problem with it. Didn't really feel one way or another.
Yeah, I just don't remember anything from this match. It sucks because I just feel like this Elite Blackpool Combat Club thing, it's worn out on me. Like I feel like I've seen it. I'm ready for something else.
I'm not here for the Combat Club anymore, other than Danielson. I don't think. Like I'm just down on it. I'm just really down on it right now.
I feel like they've lost so much steam after they lost Regal. Like I wanted to watch them because of Regal, and like now they don't have them, and it's like, damn, like that's.
So here's a question. Let's conspiracy theory this a second.
Okay.
What happened directly after Regal left? What did they start doing?
Damn.
Working with the Elite.
I mean,
there is a direct correlation between things sometimes becoming less interesting.
I mean,
when you work with the Elite,
if you're not wrong about that.
If you're someone who works their style, it works great. If you're the opposite,
listen, I love
doesn't always work.
I've loved the Elite for a long time. We wouldn't be here without the Elite talking about this show. But man, if they've lost so much steam. They've lost a lot of stuff with me over this CM Punk deal. Like I know that like both sides, there's clear and cut defined sides of who's right and who's wrong, but and I'm clearly a CM Punk guy, and I'm willing to I understand that Punk was probably an asshole on a lot of that, but just the way that it's perceived, and we all know the way that the Bucks do stuff with Meltzer and the way that Meltzer reported a lot of bullshit. Like that's just I don't know, I just don't care anymore. Like I don't know if I don't care about the elite anymore, but like they haven't had a really super interesting feud for me to get back in on. Is it just me? Like am I just down on the elite right now? But I feel like they haven't. I want FTR and versus the Bucks, and they haven't given me that for 2 years. And I don't know
because the Bucks are going to beat them for the belts, and it's going to be a shit show.
Yeah.
Here's what I think needs to happen. Here's my, and when I say the elite, I don't mean Kenny Omega.
Yeah, we'll leave Omega out of this.
And I think I'm more specifically talking about the Bucks. They have been overused. I want to see them go away for a little bit. And it's not because I don't like them as what I perceive their personalities to be and them as humans. I think they have spent too much time on TV in a prominent spot, and then you add some of the dumb stuff that has happened and some of like again, their act is not based on or readily based upon storytelling. Their act is based upon, holy crap, did you see that 14 flip thing they just did? And that's great, but it's been 4 years of that. And it's not that the overall story that they are a part of hasn't been interesting, like the overall arc of the elite and the growth of the elite and the ups and the downs and the ins and the outs. But I think I've seen them too much on TV. That like I see their spot fest matches, and at this point I'm like, all right, I have seen you do the same spots over and over and over, and it's not that they're not impressive from an athletic standpoint, but I could really see you guys a little bit less for a while, so you look a little fresher. I'm not mad at them about what happened with like Brawl Out and some of the other things, and yeah, I think like cognitively I would love to see them in FTR work again, but I also think we look at that with rose-colored glasses a little bit. Because they work well together. But I would also I think I would like to see them take a break and then come back.
Here's my issue with the elite, and this is with the Young Bucks. They have their clear cut and defined people in the company who they like to work with and who they're willing to work with in really big matches, i.e. the Lucha Bros. How many times have they gone out there and done it with the Lucha Bros and it looks fucking phenomenal? And that's because they're willing to go out there and do business with everybody. But like, not saying that they're not. I'm not saying that. But like, it just feels like they're. I don't know. I'm just so down on them right now. Like, I feel like you're right. Like they've been oversaturated, and it's been, there's been story, yes, but I feel like everybody else was more excited for Kenny to come back than they were the Bucks, and the Bucks couldn't ride the tail enough of Kenny to get them over the hump and keep them over, and Kenny's just ascended even further away from them to the point where I don't even know if we even need to see the Bucks in the division anymore, at least for a while. Like I feel like they have their place in the division, but I don't think it's right now.
It's outgrown them. AEW has outgrown the Bucks.
Do you think they leave?
That's probably a lot of it's their own fault.
Do you think they leave?
I mean, I know that WWE would be interested to get the Bucks versus the Usos at Mania. Why the hell would you not? But I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know I don't know if they're as valuable as a commodity as what they were, 2 years ago or 4 years ago. I just don't think they are.
Yeah, it's tough. I don't know. It's just I'm just not in on the Bucks right now. I love the Bucks, but I'm just not in on like what I don't know. Give me a story to hop on. That way I can ride it again. But I don't know.
And here's the thing: you watch BTE, and okay, that's stupid wrestling internet humor.
That's more entertaining than
like
doing on the show.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. They show more personality, and they are more entertaining doing that than they are in promos and stuff sometimes. Like they don't show enough of their actual personality, I think, sometimes, and that you lose a little bit of it. So then if you don't watch BTE and you don't appreciate the people that you know are on screen,
Yeah.
then you just see guys who just do a lot of impressive moves, and there's some storytelling ongoing around them, but it's not really happening to them in the same way. And you know what, you could probably go back and even say, okay, they probably do some storytelling, but it's not memorable storytelling. And then they don't really do a lot of storytelling in their matches in a way that's like easily perceivable, that it is overshadowed by the high spots that they do. And that's wonderful. They're high spots, but they get a little old. So I don't know. Again, I like the easiest thing feels like to me, they need a break and to come back, because they're whenever they come back, like if they take a break and they come back, they're gonna be over.
Yeah.
That the company is built on them. So there's no way they're not gonna be over. Everybody's gonna be happy to see them. And they could probably use some time off based on injuries. Like even with that time off they had for brawl out and stuff, they could probably use some more time. They can work in the back. They can still do whatever they do as EVPs, like polish their name plates or whatever. And it would, it would be fine. And I think that that would really help them as a group, because again, I know, like if you've ever read their book, and it is a bit of a self-service piece, but it's very interesting, and like they clearly love what they do, and they're very intelligent, and there would not be this version of mainstream wrestling without those two gentlemen specifically.
Right.
There's no doubt about that. But I really hope they do something else, because like it's very sad to watch. Like it's sad for me to sit here and be metacognitive about my thought process about them, because like honestly, I just dipped out for 5-10 minutes when they were in the match. So
Right. Yeah, and did you guys stick around for the next match, the women's match, Toni Storm versus Willow Nightingale?
Yeah,
very good.
I saw most of it.
Yeah,
I thought it was fine. I thought it was fine
Yeah.
for what it was. Toni Storm looks great, man.
does.
She really does look. I loved her when she was in that Mae Young Classic, which led to her getting signed to NXT UK, and she did a great job over there. And the NXT run she had was awesome. The WWE run was not awesome.
Yeah.
And you know what? And she kind of hasn't been consistently great in AEW either. But I think right now, man, her as a heel, she's really hit her stride, and I'm very glad she's the champ.
I think that the Outcasts are starting to hit their stride a little bit too. Let's see if we can get Paige, a little bit healthy and see what she can do in the ring. I don't know if that's a lost cause or not, but like I feel like the Outcasts are starting to get a little bit of their footing. Willow Nightingale, 100% over. Love Willow. She's got something. Let's keep her trajectory upwards and onwards. But yeah, I thought it was a good spot in the show, and definitely, was not a bad watch. I didn't hate it whenever I was done with it.
yeah, I wanna put it over a little bit. I really thought this was a good match. I enjoyed watching this match. I thought the juxtaposition between the two characters, I know it's always a babyface and a heel, but I thought like for as good of a heel as Toni Storm was, Willow was just as good in the opposite direction. And she was very lively. It was great to see. Like she was a breath of fresh air, as Andretti has said before. The belt looks great with her. And, like they got to put her on TV all the time. Maybe don't overexpose her like the Bucks, but just it was a really good match. I cared more about this match than I did the Elite BCC match. And I enjoyed the crap out of it. I thought it was well worked. I mean, obviously it was shorter and there was some kabuki-ishness, but yeah, and you knew Willow wasn't going to win.
Yeah.
Is what it is. But the way they got to the end was very good. And I don't know. I walked away from that match thinking, man, those two are both better for having that match. And I don't know. I enjoyed it. It just hit me in a particular way, I guess.
She should be the person that beats Athena for the ROH women's title.
Yes. Thank you.
Sure, absolutely.
Because what's going to happen is she's going to lose the New Japan Strong belt to Julia from Stardom, who's probably the top women's wrestler in the world, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of want to see that match. I haven't seen anything of Julia yet.
She's,
so.
dude, it's, I mean, physical, athletic, confident, great look, dude. I mean, she's got every tool.
Awesome. Speaking of awesome, this next match of the year by far, 7-star, maybe even 7.5-star match. Kenny Omega versus Will Ospreay 2, and damn, did these boys put their working boots on, laced them up tight, and fucking went out there and fucking did it. Like, I know that Omega and Okada had their trilogy. It feels like Will Ospreay and the Kenny Omega trilogy might be better than the Okada trilogy, and I know that that's looked at as like the absolute pillar of excellence of a trilogy, but clearly, hopefully, I don't know if this is the plan, but hopefully, Wembley is where they do part 3 of this. It feels like that's where it needs to happen, but damn, that's all I got to say about, like, just damn, like, these guys fucking did it all, and they bled like pigs in the match. They had a very hard physical match that had great spots. That Tiger Driver 91 was absolutely bonkers. That Spanish Fly was sick. 2 Spanish Flies. They did one off the top rope and one in the middle of the ring. Like, what a fucking match.
Yeah, I think a top 3 I've ever seen. Definitely a top 5, but it's crazy to think that there's a common denominator in there with all those. If I had to list the top 3 or top 5 matches I've ever seen, especially in the last 10 years, man, I mean, it's got to be, there's a common denominator in all of them.
Yeah. And it's Kenny Omega.
Yeah. But I honestly, Ospreay for me right now is the number 1 guy in the world. Ospreay's my number 1 guy in the whole world right now. And Kenny's probably number 2 or 1A at this point. It's just an insanity.
The everything that Okada could do to, like, in their trilogy, in the trilogy with Omega, like, Will Ospreay turns it up to another notch. And there's an aerial component that, like, clearly Okada and Kenny didn't have, but, like, you can really see the athletic ability in this one, and it's showcased, and it is insane. This is the Kenny Omega that everybody's been talking about for years, that everyone talked about on the internet for years, that you're going to see a Kenny Omega match, this is what you're going to get, and that was on full display on Sunday night. This match was just holy shit. I can't say enough good things about it. It was so perfect. I don't know how much I thought Okada Kenny 2 was perfect. This one is better, I think. I'm just gonna say it now.
I thought, man, like, I didn't watch the other ones live. I've seen them, all 3 of them, of the Okada Omega matches, and this one felt more physical.
Yeah,
it felt more personal, and their intent, like, okay, wrestling is a work, right?
Right.
They forgot to tell these guys that was a work, because that was just 2 dudes who were going out to beat the living tar out of each other, and mission accomplished.
Yeah.
So it wasn't only the physicality, it was the storytelling that they did in the match through the moves. They say that a good wrestling match isn't the moves, it's what you do between the moves, right? So, yeah, check box everywhere. I mean, the added components of Don Callis and whoever those 2 security guards were, which there's going to be something with that. I don't know where that's going to come out, and I might be way out of line here, but they looked like the authors of pain to me.
They weren't, but that would be really kind of cool if it was. It wasn't, though. That one guy was cool.
I didn't know who it was, but
it wasn't, but that's not a terrible idea. I don't hate that.
But getting back to the other stuff, like the way they took you up and down and up and down and up and down, and then when they really kicked it into overdrive, like 3/4 of the way through the match, Callis came back down.
Yeah,
And that's when they
it was
really
odd,
just
but
kicked in. Yeah, that was a little odd, but that's when they really kicked on the afterburners. And to me, man, it was that was the best match I've seen as it was happening. Um, and man, when I honestly, and this, and I'm not like a weakling or a weak stomach human normally, but I made an audible noise when he dropped that Tiger Driver,
oh
and just to see the angle that all of Kenny's weight came down on his neck,
yeah.
I legitimately thought he was paralyzed.
Was that the safest way to do that? Like, do we have it?
There is no safe way to do it.
There's like literally no safe way to do it, but if you're gonna do it, is that the
No,
safest way to do it? Like, I have no idea.
I have no idea, but uh, I legitimately like felt sick after it happened for like a good 5-10 minutes, and was genuinely worried about him being okay. And that right there is a perfect example of what the intent of wrestling is to make you feel something, right? So whether it is sustainable to do things like that and to put that on national television in such a prominent spot that people on the indies who are less capable, less trained will try and imitate, and what that could mean for people down the line is another conversation. But keeping it within the purview of this match, like everything from top to bottom about this match was just two of the best guys of all time doing it in their peak.
Right. Oh my
And
God. Oh,
just I there's no words for it. If you haven't seen it, um, why are you listening this far? But please go watch it. It's great storytelling, it's great moves, it's everything between the moves. They kept you engaged for the length of that match of 45 minutes or roundabouts. And that was the first time that I really understood when they say they'll take you through a journey where it's up and down, and each guy has, sustained sections, and then, you know, they switch spots on offense and defense, and they go, and it's up and down and up and down, and then they really kick it into a third gear.
mhm.
But my goodness, you want to watch a clinic of modern pro wrestling?
This is it.
Yeah, it was tremendous.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
then,
it's tough sometimes to have a recency bias, but to your point about seeing stuff live, I mean, that first Osprey Omega match and this one from Forbidden Door, just in the moment. I mean, I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything better that I've seen live.
no,
Yeah.
Off the top of my head, I can't think of it.
I can't either. Like literally live, it's gotta. I can't imagine what it was like being in the building for that.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Apparently the roof blew off when he kicked out at one.
dude, Kenny kicking out at one was my favorite spot of the whole match.
Yeah, just
Just the way that he did it, and like it was
yeah,
so unexpected. Oh, that was my favorite spot
yeah,
of the match. But yeah,
yeah. They
seriously.
they had you. They had everyone hooked the
Oh,
entire
absolutely. Yeah,
time
everybody hooked.
on everything.
If there was one match that you want to see from this show, this is the match. Like I don't even care. Like this is the match that everyone should watch because this is match of the year. Like you're not going to see a better match all year unless they do it again for three, which they could, but that's hard to have three of the best matches of the year, and these guys are gonna they're probably gonna end up doing it.
Good.
Uh, but yeah, and then our co-main event, we had the trios match of Sting and Darby Allin and Naito, which was a good call by JC and I. And
Nailed it.
yeah, we did nail it. And then Chris Jericho, Minoru Suzuki, and Sammy Guevara. They did the trios match. I thought, it sucks kind of because it looked like Sting got hurt a little bit on that elbow drop. And then, Sting was supposed to, do the thing through the table, ended up not doing it. It just it felt like I wanted more. I didn't hate it, but it was there, and it was a really good way of getting us into the main event.
It was the let me up.
Yeah,
And Sting is my favorite wrestler of all time. He was my favorite as a kid. You're never going to take that nostalgia away from me. But the last couple matches he's had have not looked good. And he's getting to the point, and I don't want to see this happen, and I want him to have the send off he deserves. All right, but we got to start booking it, guys.
They said that he hasn't decided when his last date is, or like when he's going to do it.
Yeah.
That's probably kind of why it's up in the air.
And his contract runs out sometime this year.
Yeah.
And please resign, so that you can still be a manager, work backstage, action figures, merchandise, etc. Please,
Yes,
Steve.
please sign up. We need more figures and merch.
I will turn a pen for you specifically to sign with. And send it to you.
We need a Surfer Sting figure. We need another one.
Blade Runner Sting? Are you serious?
Yes.
Anyway, I thought everyone else in this match, maybe Jericho was a little goofy in the match as well, but
that's nothing.
Like there were spots where I know. But there were spots where like Sting was just standing near the corner, but on the inside of the ropes, not the outside, and he was like trying to figure out where he was supposed to be going, it looked like. And I'm like, you're not even engaged with the match, man. And like if he was hurt, he was hurt. I totally get that. And I'm not doing what I did to Adam Cole the other week with a shit sandwich. And again, still not mad at Adam Cole. I was disappointed that I didn't get to see him, but if he was sick, he was sick.
Yeah.
And if Sting was hurt, he was hurt. I just want to see him go out on a good note and him not feel on his own that he's going on a down note. He should go out feeling like he's on top because he's forever on top. So that was my thoughts on the match. If there's one you can skip to save your own nostalgia, you can skip this one.
What'd you think, Andretti?
Fine. It was fine. I mean, it was nice to see all those guys working together. That was the first time him and Jericho have ever worked together, right?
Yeah, which was actually really surprising considering how long their careers have been, and they were in WCW together and not did anything.
Yeah, I mean, look, it was fine. I liked it. It didn't change my life or anything. I mean, when I watch that show back, I'll probably watch that match again. Just to watch it and get a break between the two big ones. But I didn't change my life, but I enjoyed it enough.
And they're doing a tornado tag on Wednesday. Darby and Sting, and I think it's Jericho and Guevara.
Yeah.
So, should be good.
Absolutely. But then for the main event, this was the dream match. This is the match that everybody wanted to see. This is the match that everybody's been talking about for years as a dream match. And I thought it was pretty good. I'm so really surprised that they actually got the final countdown for that. I thought that this was a great match. Really surprised that Danielson, he broke his arm with about 10 minutes left in the match, and he did that seizure spot, which, of all accounts is kind of a rib, really, because he's been known to have seizures before. So he does a seizure spot in the middle of the ring during the match. So I'm sure everybody was a little freaked out about that. But the way that he finished the match, Danielson gets the win. This has been the highly anticipated match that we've been talking about for years, and I don't think it disappointed. But I liked it. I really liked it a lot. I thought it was a great way to end the night. I thought that, we had the big upswing and the big moment with the Omega match. And then we had the let up spot with Sting. And then this was the really serious technical match that should have ended the show and did.
Yeah, awesome. It was great. It was excellent.
Go ahead, JC.
I thought it was interesting to watch because I didn't know what to expect, from a working perspective where they were going to go with it.
Yeah.
And then how things were going to happen. And and this was by design. The ending felt flat, and that is very much by design. I'm not criticizing that. So I thought it was an excellent match. To take a second to appreciate Bryan Danielson, there's no way he didn't change the finish or how they finished the submission that he used at the finish. There's no way he didn't change that on the fly because of the arm.
Absolutely. Yeah. They definitely had to switch out on the fly. Agreed.
So he had to figure out, while being in all that pain in front of all those people, how to change his normal submission finish to incorporate a leg instead of an arm, because his arm was displaced. Like that is a displaced fracture. If you've seen the X-ray today, that was not a small break. That sucker is
big,
real screwed up. It is fully broken displacement. So to be able to work the last 10 minutes of that, and then also change that up on the fly in front of however many people were in the building and then millions at home, was just incredible.
That's why Daniel.
It doesn't sound like they're gonna. Yeah, and it doesn't sound like they're going to be able to run it back at all out because of the arm.
Yeah. Daniel's
all in. I'm sorry.
Which actually might be a good thing for the Blackpool Combat Club.
Yeah, and for a build up. So hey, you beat me, but I broke your arm.
Yeah.
So, that's number 2. And I'm looking forward to seeing how all that will evolve. And I wasn't disappointed, and the way it ended, the flatness of the ending was by design. So I'm not even mad about that. So. Yeah,
it really sucks that we're not going to get a 2 anytime soon, but in that, Danielson probably misses all out, but yeah, I mean, that really sucks that he's not going to be there, probably because with that bone fracture, it looks really, really bad. So, but yeah, hats off to that guy for, basically looked like he called it in the ring there at the end, and, hats off to him for finishing the match. And, we don't like to see people get hurt, but, if they're willing to gut something out like that, not always something to be proud of, but, that's a master, working their craft in the middle of the ring.
I mean, those are 2 of the top 5 guys probably in the world right now, Okada and Danielson. So I'm sure we're going to get more of those matches, man. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, the fact that we got this match and we got Ospreay and Omega, those are, I mean, they're probably 4 of the top 5 in the world, I would say.
That's what I was getting ready to say. It's crazy that we saw 4 of the top 5 guys in the ring in, 2 of the last 3 matches of that show. Absolutely incredible. Yeah, I feel like you got to give this show an A. You got to give it a watch. Go to check it out. You can catch it on the BR app. I don't know if they're on Fight or not. I don't know if this one's on Fight. I'm sure it's on the BR app though. But yeah,
internationally it was.
Internationally, okay.
So for our Indian listeners, Fight.
Yes, our big India listeners of the Podski, check it out on Fight. So, but yeah, make sure you check out all the archive shows. Be sure to check out Tooth and Nail, Andretti After Dark, Hot Shots Wrestling, and all the other good stuff we got going on here on the Podski. And thank both of the Pizza War boys for coming on here today. And we will see you next time on the Podski.